Good now. All right. Hi, everyone. This is our test automation meeting, and today is April 2nd, 2020. And just a reminder that these meetings are public and posted to YouTube. Today I've added a couple of items on the agenda, but please feel free to add more during our conversation or just bring it up during our conversation. Let's go over our regular agenda items, the status and updates. There are only two items that are in progress. One is a bug which Girish had already worked, and this is a ping issue that was causing regressions. And this is already fixed, and an update is that I already verified it with his patch, and everything seemed to be fine. And we don't have any issues on the parts anymore. So I will ask him to close this. And Hang Wei, this is about the ONU adapter restart.
Yeah.
Any updates to it, Hang Wei?
I just update the patch and test in the demo part, but I still have some problems, so I will still working on this patch today.
Okay. Thanks. So I see only these two items. Anyone else has any one that are in progress and which are not shown here by any chance? Okay. And just to update that on the JIRAs, the data plane items Voltha 2052 and I think 2054, those tickets have been moved out of Voltha 2.3 and then they will be included as part of the next release 2.4. Reason being that we will not have time to integrate them and also put them and test them and then integrate them. So it's totally fine, and then we can start with having higher priority on them for the next release. Just wanted to let you know. Any concerns for moving these tickets to the next release? Okay. And please remember that all new tests that we are going to start from this time onward should go into master only, because we are not going to integrate any new tests into the 2.3 nightly jobs except the ONU adapter restart test, which is already written, and the RW core restart test. These are the only two tests that we will be including as part of the nightly jobs in the next 2 days. And after that, we will be monitoring all the tests from Jenkins and to make sure that we don't have any more regressions. And if there are any regressions, then that needs to be fixed. But this is the entire list that we will be having for the Voltha 2.3 release. And so, yeah, I think those are the only two items that I have for the updates on JIRAs. Any other issues or any other patches that you would like those to be part of 2.3, other than the ones which we talked about?
I don't know if this is going to be brought up later, but I think we should include the number of flows tests that Andy/Hardik created to make sure that we actually remove all the flows upon OLT deletion.
The OLT deletion, yeah. So I think we might have to have a discussion on that. If it is fixed in 2.3, yes, we can add it.
Okay.
Yeah, because right now, otherwise, all the tests will fail on the deletion of OLT.
Yeah, no, I think that I have a patch to fix it. There were some discussions around what exactly we want to do with that patch. We'll probably discuss more on the different Slack channels. If that is the right solution. If that is not the right solution, I think we have another one in Onos that could solve it the other way around. and it all stays about the NNI port. So the solution I have deletes it from the core, meaning the core sends up a delete of the NNI port. If that is chosen not to be implemented this way, we can change the OLT app to do a purge of flows when the device is disabled, but the NNI is still there. Right now, it checks that there are 0 ports. We could move that check. To just the UNI ports.
Hmm. So with your patch, it will also remove the NNI ports and all the flows.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we will fix this in 2.3.
Yeah, that's true. That's what the discussion yesterday we had. But
Yeah,
if the fix is involved and it's not, if it is not breaking any other test, I think it should be fine, right?
sounds good.
Yep. Okay. Thank you. Any other patches needed for 2.3? All right. I think there is one more. Okay. Any other items before we move on? All right. So moving on to the pods, there are a new, if you have noticed that on our community pods page, we now have 2.3 jobs which are created for the Berlin and the Infosys pod. And please keep an eye on any failures, especially on the 2.3 jobs. If there are any, please flag them. Otherwise, I see that they are going good. Except that I'm wondering why Infosys pod is showing only 16 here. I don't know if they have been triggered. They should have been triggered, but it doesn't seem like. But Hema, do you mind triggering them during your daytime? If you have time, the pod is free, then can you trigger them and then see if there are no issues on it?
Yeah, Sujita, I'll do it tonight. I just aborted it
Okay.
since it started failing for the device issue. So I'll trigger it once our local execution is completed.
Okay, so the device issue is just the local issue?
Because it is locked up in our local VM.
Oh, okay. All right. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else that you want to bring up regarding the pods? Yes.
I have good news. I have the GPON setup in the Berlin pod with 3 ONUs that seem to be connected to the PON. That is indeed very good, at least. And I have created 3 patches for the CI management, the pod configs, and the Voltha system tests to bring in the GPON, meaning basically creating a new job using the same stuff, except that using the XGS PON that we're going to use the GPON with the DT workflow. So they're in Gerrit. Just please do take a look at them.
Okay, so these are related to master, are these?
Yeah, I tagged it with master, but we can do 2.3 too. We can actually, as you have done 2.3 and master on the XGS PON, we can run 2.3 and master on the GPON. That's up to you. Just take a look at the patches. They're not tested, so we need to, that's why I put them in master. We should probably test them with master, make sure that they run smoothly, and then convert them to 2.3 too.
Okay. Yeah, for now, I think it's best that we will have it on master because I think we would like to close out the release. We can discuss it on the stand-up and then see what Mara's opinion is.
There is one thing that Hardik asked me to bring up because he has some issues with his mic. So if you look in the chat, I put 2 links. These are actually 2 patches that do the same thing, which is check the number of flows in ONUS. So I know this is something that we will either put only in master or in 2.3 if that gets fixed. But independently of where we put it, we should probably do one of the two. One is from Andy and one is from Hardik. Just pick one, and let's pick one. They're very similar. Per my understanding, I like the one that Hardik made a little better than what the one from Andy, but it's really up to you. So I guess just take a review of that and maybe have Andy look at the Hardik's one, and then we can decide which one to continue, I guess.
Okay, so that if we wanted like only one, then probably we should have put some comments on this patch, or is it the approach is completely different that you had to create a new patch? Because Andy had already started something, right? And probably comments on this patch would have been better, isn't it? Now we have to pick and choose which one.
Yeah. I guess Hardik wasn't really aware of this patch, so he started his. I think that's why.
Okay.
Yeah, I hadn't really advertised this patch, you know, as just using it for my own testing. So, yeah, I'll take a look at Hardik's patch, and probably, you know, it's fine to use his, but let me take a look first.
Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
Andy.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, so there are delete patches. Let me just put it here. Oh yeah, we already have it. All right, so moving on, test executions. All right, so for Girish had created the OpenOLT Debian package with the git hash commit ID over here. So this is the final one that has been generated, but this unless you have already downloaded it last week, it's the same one. It should be exactly the same one. But since this is the officially generated one and it is published on the website, I would recommend everyone to start using this and then apply it on your patches. What I was thinking was we can copy this onto our OLT and but still use the tagging. Just create another file name and then link them together because this is too big to give it in a job like something like this. What I'm trying to say is, so in the build job, so each of the pod has a reference to the OpenOLT Debian version. And if you could just use the same name, it's easier. Otherwise, it will be a really long git hash commit ID over here. So I'm just proposing that why don't we use the same name as whatever you had been using earlier, but just then copy the one that he has created and then just give them like link them together with the.
Why are we doing this? Isn't the point of having the git hash so that we can specify and know which is being run in each location?
Yeah, this is like too large. That's why I was thinking if there was a shorter way to.
It's too long for who?
I mean, I'm just saying for the. This is just proposal. If everybody agrees, then it's okay. Otherwise, I'm fine with either way. I was thinking we already used this, so I thought like just linking it in the OLT is okay.
The point of including the hash is just so that we know exactly which version is being used in the tests, and renaming it throws away that versioning information. So I'd prefer not to throw away that information if we can. I realize this means that we have to go and change the tests every time that that we change OLT versions, but doing that explicitly, I think, makes our makes it easier to know when we make changes what has changed.
There is no
Additionally, this information is stored if you in the runs. If you look in the there's a variable section in Jenkins that'll tell you which
yes.
what was invoked with. So I'd rather be
Hello.
more specific, because this is not like it.
Hello.
I could see how I would want to do this, not changing the name of the job.
No, there is no difference.
Sujitra, can you hear me?
Yeah, your voice, I couldn't hear you, but then I kind of get your point. I don't have any problem adding it in the CI management, and it's not a difficult thing as well. I was just seeing that if specifying this is fine or not, because it's too long. So I was thinking, why not we give a name which is which points to the release tag over here, and then reference it. Otherwise, I'm fine, because I can go ahead and then change the CI management. It's not a big change, ideally. So if we decide on keeping the same name, I'll go ahead and then change for all the pods to use.
So one question on that. We should actually have two. One, that is this one, to run the 2.3 tests, and one, which is master, to run the master tests.
Yes.
So right now, we are lucky enough that both run out of the same version, but in the future, it should probably be different.
Right. You're right. Yes. So each pod, anyway, it has its own, the master will have its own Debian version, and the 2.3, the releases will have its own Debian version. As at this point, we have same version. Yes. I think going forward, master might change, which is still fine, and then that could be changed in the jobs too. So if everyone is fine, including the complete Debian version here, this kind of reference which shows here, then I will go ahead and then copy it there.
I know I would prefer it, just because I think it'll be easier to debug, and then we don't have the which version of 2.3.0 are you using question, which is kind of silly.
Right.
Yeah, then we have to go to the OLT and then check it, right?
Yeah, and that's extra work that we could more expose in the tests earlier.
And this issue seems to be a result of us having multiple versions of the 2.3.0 Debian, which in itself maybe seems to be a problem, right? We shouldn't have multiple different things with the same version tag. So I guess the reason we did that is because that Debian corresponds to the 2.3.0 release, but maybe, and so that's why we need to include some other information so that we know which one we're talking about. But maybe at some point we want to revisit that, make sure that we don't have multiple artifacts with the same version tag.
Okay.
Suchitra, just for my own personal...
I'm fine, but I'm sorry. So does anyone else have any objections, including this name? And by that means that everyone, especially on the community ports, please make sure that you copy this, because once I change the reference in the CI management, then we are referring to this, and then hopefully we are not waiting for a missing package during build.
Question: Where is it found, that one? Where can we download it from?
Oh, this is from here. Let me just bring that up. This should be on this website. This is on the website. I can send an email to everyone. I don't have the link right now, But if you go to the EdgeCore website, there we have to traverse to this location, and then you will find this particular Debian version there. And also it also requires credentials, and I hope that everybody has credentials, or by some means, I don't know Infosys how you guys access, or somebody gives it to you, the Debian version, but please request for this from Infosys side. And Andrea, you had a question?
No, I don't have the EdgeCore credentials. I guess I'll just copy it from one of our OLTs.
Okay, sounds good. All right, I will let you know then. Hema, do you have access to the EdgeCore website, or usually how is that you were getting the Debian versions?
Yeah, we don't have access. I usually raise EdgeCore support ticket to get the same. I'll raise it today.
Okay, so then will you let me know once you get it? For now, I will not change the Infosys job to point to this particular Debian version. Once you have it, let me know, okay?
Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you. Andrea, you have any other concerns regarding this?
No.
Okay. Anyone else before we move on? Okay. The other item that I wanted to point on the test executions is the regression issues that we had been having since 2 days. All the issues have been fixed, and going to the main page here, if you notice that we used to have earlier released for the released jobs, but now it's Voltha 2.3, and all the jobs have been renamed accordingly, and there have been some changes on the BAL types. We used to have multiple 1T4 gem and 1T4 gem underscore BAL version. Now we have confined to one version, which is the final one that we have been using, and everything seems to be good. And there are no existing issues that we are monitoring except the one that Andy has found. After deletion of OLT, there are pending delete flows, which that needs to be fixed for the release. Yeah, so anyone has any questions? Okay, this looks really good now. Even the BBSIM ones are all good. Great. Okay, anything else on the test execution item? All right, moving on. I just put this future tickets just for reference, so that because right now we don't show any tickets in the here for people who are already done and then who wants to pick up new tickets. So that's a reference where you can go and then start looking at the tickets which are to do, and then please assign it to yourself and start working. But there has to be another discussions where we would like to have where what are the tickets and the priority of tickets for the next release 2.4, which hasn't happened yet, but might happen soon after we close this release. But for now, please go ahead and pick up any tickets which are not assigned, and then you can continue working on those. All right, moving on. All right, before we move on, are there any other concerns from anyone else from DT or TT regarding their tickets and progress in general? Okay, sounds good. All right, so the next one.
Yeah, the next items I think I added.
Okay.
So the first was a question from last week. There's a problem where we were starting an executor and it was waiting for like 15 or 20 minutes to start a job, and that was obviously getting in the way of people getting work done. I looked into this. The delay is entirely on Amazon side because we're using EC2 to run those. It varies quite a bit between runs. I looked at a few runs and it was taking from anywhere from like 4 or 5 minutes to 24 minutes, which was even worse than what was experienced earlier. But there's not really anything we can do unless we change dramatically the executor type, which would change a whole lot of other things until Amazon adds more hardware or people stop using this. And I think this is entirely related to workloads shifting to the cloud because of the Corona situation.
No, okay.
I'll keep looking into it. I do recognize that the speed that we get patches through tested is very important.
Yeah.
So just an update on that.
Okay, thanks, Zach. Sometimes it's like, yeah, even sometimes I try to get the patches merged after review in the night. Even then, very small changes, then we have to wait like 30 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that's no good. We should look into that and see what we can do. But there were no easy fixes that I could see.
Yeah, sure. No, I understand. And I think it's the Corona situation also, as you explained, so we can't do much.
Yeah. Okay. And the next item was some changes that are coming to Kind Voltha. So David Bainbridge asked me to bring it into Garrett from GitHub. There's a ticket for that. I'm assigned it. I'm working it. I'm creating lint tests on it, basically running shell check because Kind Voltha is a giant ball of shell scripts. And I love David's description here. But right now there's no testing being done on Kind Voltha per se. So we're going to need to change a lot of our some of our automation to first pull from Garrett instead of GitHub, and second, it would be nice to have a test that can test patch sets in Garrett to Kind Voltha.
Okay. Can you add some of the tests that you have described as tickets?
Yes, I'll add tickets to that. The lint tests I'll handle because it's I'm fairly familiar with shell check and going through that. But the functional tests for testing the patch sets, I could that might just be as simple as adding it to one of our existing tests, but I'm not sure where would be the most appropriate place to do that. But I'll make tickets.
Okay, thank you. So this is all for 2.4, right?
Yes, but I think it's probably going to come back to 2.3. I think almost all the changes, though, are going to be in CI management, which doesn't get versioned.
Oh, okay. So we have to change it later on. So when is the proposal to move completely? So when do you think the work will be done on this?
I would like to get this done by either end of this week or early next week.
Okay. End of this week, it's tomorrow, Zach.
Yeah. I'm gonna get it. I'll put it this way. I'll get the repo moved over. Maybe we won't be using it until sometime middle of next week.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions for Zach? All right. Before we close out, any other items anyone would like to bring up?
Hi, Sushitra, Thorsten here.
Hi, Thorsten.
One small question. Currently, I work for the new ONU adapter with Go language. I write a test case for it, but it's not mentioned here.
New, which one? Sorry, what is that?
The new ONU adapter.
So
ONU adapter.
Just to give you some more context, so basically the Adtran team is working on rewriting the OpenONU adapter that we have in Python. They're rewriting it in Go. Thorsten in particular is writing a test that tests just that adapter to make sure that it's integrated properly into the whole Voltha stack. So this would be a completely new test in a completely new file that has to run just on the repo of the OpenONU Go adapter.
Okay. So where is there a ticket? And
I created one today. Yeah, yesterday I think. Yesterday, today.
Okay.
It's for 2.4 or even maybe future. I don't remember if I put it in future.
All right. I was just going to ask you if it was for 2.3. And Torsten, any tickets which are away which are not related to 2.3 will not be shown in this list. And they will be shown in other link that I posted here in our, sorry, where do I have that? Yeah, so here, this is the filter. You can look at the tickets from there, and which takes you here.
Yes, this I have opened too, but the new, very new issue or ticket created by Andrea isn't here.
Oh, really? Okay, unless we haven't tagged the.
Oh no! Wait.
Let's
Andrea,
see.
no.
You don't see it, right?
No.
Is it assigned to you, Torsten?
Yes,
Correct?
it's assigned to me.
Oh, okay, yeah, we don't see it here unless the ticket might not be having this this brigade tagged.
Hmm.
Do you know the ticket number?
2855.
Oh, so it is linked to the OpenONU adapter.
That's right.
Yeah, so it won't show in the previous report because we are just pulling for the tickets which are in the automation brigade. Do you want this to be changed to the automations so that you can keep track from here?
What do you mean, Andrea?
It's really up to you guys. I particularly don't have a preference. I put it under there because it's really related to that work. And unfortunately, you cannot have two epics on the same ticket. So
No, I don't think so. Can we? Zach, can we have? Maybe not. Yeah, because it removed the other one. Yeah, so it's up to you guys if you want this to be added. Is it a robot test case or is it kind of a unit test case that
no, it will be a robot test case.
Oh, okay. So then why not we have it in our test brigade? Because if it is like an integration test, then we can put it as part of the test automation brigade. Is that fine with you both?
For me, it's okay.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
From my side, not.
Okay. Thank you, Torsten. Okay. Anyone else has anything? All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your time and participation. We'll meet and talk. We'll talk again next week.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.